Just give me a reason to keep my heart beating. Don't worry, it's safe right here in my arms. As the world falls apart around us, all we can do is hold on, hold on. Take my hand, bring me back, yeah. I risk everything if it's for you. I whisper into the night, telling me it's not my time and don't give up. I've never stood up before this time. でも譲れないもの、握ったこの手は離さない。So stand up, stand up. Just gotta keep it running. Wake up, wake up. Just tell me how we can never give up. 苦しいほど切ない。Just tell me why, baby. That might call me crazy. We're saying I fight until there is no more. 憂いを含んだ閃光眼光は感覚的 shadow blinded. I can see the end. So where do I begin? Say not a word, I can hear you. The silence between us. 何もないように映ってるだけ。I take this chance that I make it mine. ただ隠せないもの、飾ったように見せかけて。So stand up, stand up. Just gotta keep it running. Wake up, wake up. Just tell me how we can never give up. 悲しみと切なさ。Just give me a reason to keep my heart beating. Don't worry, it's safe right here in my arms. 砕けて泣いて咲いて散ったこの想いは so blinded. I can see the end. Look how far we've made it. The pain I can't escape it. このままじゃまだ終わらせることはできないでしょ。何度くたばりそうでも朽ち果てようとも終わりはないさ。So where do I begin? 握りしめた失わぬようにと手を広げればこぼれ落ちそうで失うものなどなかった日々の惰性を捨てて君を Just tell me why, baby. That might call me crazy. We're saying I fight until there is no more. 憂いを含んだ閃光眼光は感覚的 shadow blinded. I can see the end. Look how far we've made it. I can't escape it. このままじゃまだ終わらせることはできないでしょ。何度くたばりそうでも朽ち果てようとも終わりはないさ。It finally begins.
Hello everyone, my name is Me Monthly, and I wasn't expecting. I feel like I start every stream out by saying I wasn't expecting to do a stream today. But yeah, pretty much every stream these days is just unplanned. So the context is that at midnight, Ball Guy put out a scheduled tweet about a riddle that I posted last month. This riddle was see if I can just pull it up. Yeah, right here. Open in new tab. Now go to browser. No, not that one. Window capture. Right. Bring that up here. So this is the riddle. Right. So I posted this last month, and it is an edited picture of N, right? Now, this is a riddle based on a design of the Gen 10 champion. I saw a piece of concept art that included him in it, that included this design in it, and I decided to, make a little thing. So one of my friends helped me put this together because I do not have an artistic bone in my body. But this is the riddle. This is what Ball Guy is talking about, right? And the riddle in and of itself is just the dude's design, right? Um, he's got that shirt on that has like the winds and waves motifs. He's got a scar on his chin. He's got black and gray hair. It's kind of short. Wears a black shirt, gray pants, and now this is the thing that people didn't see. You see those two Pokeballs on his little chain? Those are also a hint about him, about his story and stuff, right? And Ball Guy kind of hinted about this in his tweet, right? He kind of hinted about it, that he's related to the legendaries, and I think by looking at those Pokeballs, you can understand what his relationship to the legendaries are, at least in the point in time in which that art depicts him in, right? There is a little bit of confusion about I don't know, like Ball Guy worded his tweet pretty well, but I guess like some people, I think he kind of like, I don't know why. I think he does it for readability, but he sometimes like types out his tweets like in kind of broken English, and it kind of makes it kind of hard to understand. But generally, the concept is this: the design that I saw and I based this image off of is not the design he has in the video games, in Winds and Waves, like in the games that will come out. This is a much younger version of him, around my age, a little younger than me, so in his early 20s, as compared to the actual games design, which is like he's in like his 50s, right? So he's a pretty old guy. He's one of the oldest champions we have outside of like Alder, right? In the games. So that's what Ball Guy was trying to say. There's like two different designs of him. One of them is from like 3 decades earlier. The other one is his actual game design, which looks different. He's got facial hair. He's got a coat on. It's different. It looks different. Now, people are asking. Generally, the next question is, why are there two different designs of him? The only thing I can say about that, I think, I didn't even ask if I was allowed to say it, but the only thing I'll say about that is that I saw that early design because I'm an anime guy, right? That's why I saw the young design. It's not because I'm a games guy; it's because I'm an anime guy. That's all I can say about that. I'm not gonna say anything else. But that design most likely will not actually be the early design that I made the riddle off of. Will probably not actually be in the games. Probably not. So that's generally the context of that, right? So I'm assuming Ball Guy also has seen that concept art. A person who's unrelated to the games leak scene actually had it as well. I mentioned that I had seen, he's like an anime leaker. I mentioned that I had seen, some art about potential Pokemon project, and he literally just posted the art straight up, and he was like, "Oh, you talking about this?" I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." So I think it's been getting around a little bit, but yeah. So that's the general situation behind that. Uh, it's not for the main anime though. It's not for Horizons. Yeah, no, I mentioned that hey, I'd seen something about, a thing, like a concept art. I'd seen something and I was like, "Yo, do you know anything about this?" And he like just posted the art. I was like, "Okay, damn." Posted that shit raw on Discord. Hey. Anyway, yeah, so aside from that, uh people have been kind of confused about Horizons as well, right? Because talked about this in the last stream. They officially revealed the official artwork for Navi, right, in the new key art for Arc 7, and this is the character that we've been saying is going to be getting a Gen 10, um, Gen 10 Pokemon, right? So people are a little confused because leakers have been saying that there's not going to be any Gen 10 marketing for the rest of this year. And they're, how do I put this? They're confused because technically the anime literally is marketing. And they're like, well, if there's not going to be any Gen 10 marketing, then what do you mean by, there's going to be a Gen 10 Pokemon in the anime, right? Now, there are two things to say about this, right? First thing is what Ball Guy said, is that he meant specifically like official trailers and stuff and dedicated marketing for the games outside of the anime. That's what he meant by saying there wouldn't be any in 2026. And right now, to the best of my understanding, that is the plan. They're not going to be doing any more trailers or anything like that for the rest of this year, kind of just focusing on Pocopia. And the second thing is that the character may not actually have the Pokemon right now. I said this last stream. I said this last stream that this was a possibility, and someone else, a person who is likely to be more informed about this than I am, posted on Twitter today that yeah, she's probably, or maybe it was yesterday, she's probably not going to have the Gen 10 Mon this year, right? So it could very well be that they're currently rewriting the arc right now to make it so that she doesn't get the Pokemon until next year when Gen 10 is actually more like relevant. So that could mean, of course, we won't know until the episode leaks. But it could mean that, she is not going to have the Gen 10 Mon, and the Gen 10 Mon that we're expecting that was supposed to come out like after the first few episodes is not going to come out this year, which sucks because a lot of people were looking forward to it, and that was actually mainly the only reason I was even considering watching the new arc of Horizons. The arc is not going to be delayed, but her role in the arc will likely change. So instead of being, like, I think that essentially what they were trying to do with Navi was make her into like Liko 2, in which she just kind of carried around some big plot relevant Mon for Gen 10 for a few months before they do a Gen 10 arc late 2026. I think that was the original plan that they were going to do. But now she'll just be like a random person just tagging along without. Maybe they'll give her a different purpose for now or something, but her plot relevance will not be around Gen 10 for the time being. If the guy on Twitter, I don't want to say his name, just like, not because I don't like him or whatever, just because maybe he doesn't want to be named in stream, but just in case, like, the guy on Twitter, like, he says that, then maybe, yeah, she's not gonna have that Gen 10 plot relevance. Is she not the Ditto trainer? No. To my understanding, she doesn't own the Ditto, but maybe they changed that now so that she is a Ditto trainer, and then later on, she's a Gen 10 trainer. Do you understand what I'm saying? Originally, I'm pretty sure, because the information I got was back in February That's when I kind of got all of this Horizons information. So, some of it may, they're clearly rewriting the arc, so some of it may be inaccurate now. But to my understanding, she was not supposed to be, um, she was not supposed to be the Ditto trainer. I think like she was actually introduced several episodes after the Ditto shit happens. Um, I don't really know how they're gonna do it now though. I probably would have to just ask someone. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Can we talk more about the region? Um, well, a lot of the regional lore is tied. Like, I don't really know a whole lot about. Maybe I shouldn't have put regional lore in the tweet, but the general idea was just about like the legendaries. But I don't know how like on second thought, I'm not really sure like how much I'm allowed to talk about that. But the general idea is that yeah, the way the poster placement, yeah, it kind of looks like that too. I agree. The general idea was just that you know, I mean, you can look at the fucking art and you can figure it out. He in that point in time, he owns the legendaries. He's their trainer, both of them. So that's like the big regional lore thing is that like the reason I chose N as a base plate was partially, of course, because he kind of fits the whole like he's like same skin tone, everything kind of fits it pretty well. But the other reason I chose N was because he's kind of similar to N in the way his character relates with like the region, as in N also owned a box legendary, and this guy owned two. So yeah, so that's like kind of the big thing. Does that basically confirm the game is coming out in fall and not earlier? So a known games and marketing leaker posted, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, that the month is September. He hinted that it's September next year. If that maintains to be the month, then it's like, yeah, in that little border between summer and fall, uh, is when they're generally aiming to release the games. Is Navi the Gen 10 Pro Tag? Well, what do you mean by Gen 10 Pro Tag? Because, like, you've seen the Gen 10 Pro Tags already, no? And Navi looks very different from them. If you're talking about whether she's the character that's supposed to be the Gen 10, like, marketing tool or vehicle, then yeah. So we aren't to expect in November. I mean, they could delay it to November, but as of right now, what I understand, the plan is September, right? And I think they posted that on Twitter today. Anyway, oh. Anyway, the anime Gen 10 program. Well, yeah, she's the character that's supposed to be relevant for Gen 10, right? In Horizons. No, I don't know why we made it yellow gold. Um, it was just to signify that it was the Winds legendary and the Waves legendary. The color is not necessarily relevant to what the actual Pokemon looks like. It's just it was a hint, and no one got it. I don't even think anyone looked at them because I posted that like a month ago, right? And like no one really even looked at the Pokeballs at all, or even like considered what they meant. Everyone was just like, "Oh my gosh, bro, he has a scar and he has short hair." Um. Gen 10 anime protagonist? Oh no. No, no, no. I mean, bro, what? Like, I mean, that doesn't even really make sense. But they wouldn't make a side character in one anime the main character of another anime. Um, Yeah. Um, no, that doesn't even make sense. But no, that is not the main character of the Gen 10 anime, even though there isn't really even a Gen 10 anime. But at least not the way you'd think. So it's like kind of yeah. Anyway, so aside from that, Ball Guy also posted that the Pokemon, the Gen 10 Mon that he hinted at with like an old beta version, a old beta Mon called Sato. It's like some mix between a flying fish and a bird, I think. Um, is apparently going to be a new Mon in Gen 10, and he also said that it's not an early bird, as in it's not like a Pidove or a Pidgey or something, which is cool. But yeah, okie dokie. So yeah, I think that's like all the bases. Do you guys have any questions? I think it's like all the info I think I should say right now. I was not really expecting like I was expecting to sit on that tweet for like on that riddle for like a year. I was not expecting Ball Guy to just like post the answer. Typing, typing. What typing did he say? What typing did he say of the Gen 10 Mon? Because I talked to an anime buddy, and he got to look at some of the character designs for the new arc, and I'm pretty sure I know what it's supposed to be. But then again, you know, considering that they're not actually putting them on in the anime, we have no way of confirming. Rock Psychic. Okay, well, what I can say is that the Mon that was apparently supposed to be the Gen 10 Mon was definitely not Rock Psychic, or at least it didn't look like a Rock Psychic type. Uh, we have no. He didn't know what the actual types were, right? So it's kind of like, you know, maybe it could have been Rock Psychic, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Rock Psychic. But then again, like, how the fuck would we know, right? Like, we just saw an art of it, but it from what I saw or like heard, basically, it doesn't seem like it was supposed to be a Rock Psychic. But maybe it was. I don't know. And given that the Mon is not actually going to be in the anime, seemingly, then we won't know for a while if it's true or not. But I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not. Any regionals? I mean, of course there's going to be regionals. Like, regionals are, they're easy to design for one thing, and they're also very popular. Why a rabbit, though? Well, I don't even know if the Mon was supposed to be a rabbit. Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't actually seen the Gen 10 Mon's design, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like. But I don't even think, like, it didn't seem, the description didn't seem like a rabbit. So it's kind of like the Mon might be just a description of some other kind of Pokemon. Them calling Navi Bunny Girl is funny. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I don't think the Mon is a bunny, but it's like maybe it's just like a design of another Mon, kind of like how you know how like it might not even mean anything, right? Like you know how fucking Iono has like the Magnemites in her hair, like they're like hair clips. Like maybe it's just that. Like it's just a description of another Mon. Maybe there is a bunny Mon in um there is a there is a bunny Mon in the yeah, I talked about at the start of the stream, Samwar. You might just have to rewind to the start. Maybe there's a bunny Mon in Gen 10, but maybe she doesn't actually have the bunny. I mean, I don't know. Another like thing is like remember that like dolphin girl? Um, that may be that's another like example of what I'm saying. Like I don't know if that girl actually has a dolphin Pokemon, uh, but she has a hair design that's based off dolphins. So it's kind of like whatever. Billy hinted at it being a bunny. I mean, maybe it is a bunny. I mean, as I said before, I haven't actually seen the Pokemon, but I doubt it's a bunny though. Like a bunny would be like a really odd choice for the kind of mon that was described of what it was. I don't think I can actually say what the mon is supposed to be, but I don't know if it would actually be a bunny though. A scale of Jita to Cynthia. Okay, well, Jita is not iconic. This guy. Well, look, Jita was a very, very oddly designed champion, right? It was like she looked kind of like an alien. I think that was maybe on purpose, but this guy is much more of a normal character design. He's a much more like a Cynthia than a Jita, as in like his clothes are pretty simple. He doesn't have some crazy shit going on with his face or anything. His stance is normal. Like he looks like a normal guy from the art I saw, at least. And again, that's like his younger version, not the older version. So maybe he gets kind of crazy in the. Is my thing not focused? Maybe he gets kind of crazy in the older version. My shit like unfocused. Oh well. Anyway. Yeah, he's not some like freaking Megazord or whatever like Jito was. That's for sure. He's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people will be mad that he's just like a normal white dude, but yeah, he's literally just like a normal white dude. Like that's like with a scar on his chin and like a cool T-shirt. Well, it's not a T-shirt; it's like a button-up shirt. But yeah, not some crazy ass design, not like a Yu-Gi-Oh character or anything. I think that Pokemon designs in general, especially in Gen 9, were just getting like crazier and crazier and like more outlandish like with every new one that was revealed. Like I think it's nice that we're going back to kind of, more understated characters. You don't need to have like Yu-Gi-Oh hair and stuff in order to, have a character design that's interesting. It's nice that they're getting back. Will this shit refocus? Or maybe if I just turn this off and turn it back on. Nope. Well, now it's going to be blurry for the rest of the stream, I guess. Do we really need a car? I mean, the Pokemon designs are another thing. I'm talking about the trainer designs. Pokemon designs, they can be as wacky as they want. If anything, they have to get more wacky because, there's only so many times you can make, like, generic lizard with spikes on it or something, right? Guy has both legendaries. Well, that kind of... I don't think I can talk about the story. I mean, you just gotta put two and two together, all right? You just gotta put two and two together. Sorry, you gotta think about, well, duh, I have to catch one, right? So how does that happen? Like, you just gotta think about it a little bit. Just think about it a little bit. But I can't. I don't think I'm allowed to say. I'm already like saying that the dude had the legendaries is already like kind of like. I mean, I'm just saying that because someone's gonna like post the answer to my stuff. And I want to say like one detail, like leak one thing, and that's like his thing. And even Ball Guy already kind of said he's heavily connected. Yeah, like he's heavily connected because they're his Pokemon, bro. But yeah. Do you actually know anything about the evil team? No. Yeah, no, Dan Agaluna and Zephyruda, I was trolling. Don't take that shit seriously. Do you know anything about the evil team? No, I know fuck all about the evil team. I don't. Again, I'm an anime guy. I've said this multiple times, but like, I'm an anime guy. I'm not a games guy. Like, my context on the games comes from knowing shit about Pokemon animation. You understand what I'm saying? So like the evil team has not been mentioned in anything I've heard about Pokemon animation yet. So I wouldn't really know. Like I don't have like I think Ball Guy has like a source that's like a dev or something, or maybe a QA tester or like or some sort of bug fixer or something. Uh, because his information, like, he has shit about like the Pokedex, like he knows new species that haven't been revealed yet, right? So like you wouldn't know that unless you had someone who was like in on the games. I do not have someone who's in on the games, so I'm just here, bro. Yeah. I don't know anything about the evil team. Isn't it supposed to be like some housing development board or something? Anything about the Weewa Pikachu's? What, bro? That those are gonna be just like some fucking gimmick that's like in the first part of the game, and you never see it again or never interact with it again. Like, come on, like that. Do you really think those are gonna be plot relevant? Like, the fuck does it matter? Do you think Arc 8 will adapt champions in some capacity? Maybe by revisiting the regions the Pre-Gen 9 elements are needed to. I mean, if Champions does well, I can see the next, not this arc, but like the next arc having champion stuff. The reason this arc didn't have anything about champions, even though if you think about it, it should be the arc to have stuff about champions, is specifically because they didn't know when Champions was going to come out when they were playing. So you got to realize that like this arc was getting planned last year, right? Like middle of last year, most likely is when this shit was getting planned out. And of course, they had to change their plans just a couple months ago. But back then, back then, Champions was in development hell. It was, they had no idea if they were even going to. Their plan was to release it before Worlds next year. They had no idea if they would even be able to manage that, and they ended up just putting together a quarter of the content that is supposed to be in the game and then just shitting it out. Now, Champions has been very fun. I think that the baseline systems, the gameplay engine, everything is actually pretty good. I've been playing it every day, several hours a day. I've been having a lot of fun with Champions. I'm actually only, a few wins away from Master Ball tier and doubles. I've been having a lot of fun with Champions. In fact, I was considering getting a capture card and hooking up my Switch 2 to it to play Champions on stream on this channel. But regardless, Champions is a good game. I think it's a game that deserves to get advertised, but they literally didn't know if they would be able to advertise it. Like, they couldn't advertise a game that wasn't out yet, right? So that's why it didn't get an anime episode in this new arc, even though it's probably, outside of Pocopia, like, the first thing that should have gotten one over, like, Sleep or something, right? They just weren't ready for it. And maybe there will be one in the next arc. Who knows? I doubt they would really do like a Champions tie-in though, because Champions is just battling. Like, it's more likely that they'll give them Omni Rings or something. Moot's Cobblemon stream or when? My Cobblemon streams kind of suck. When we do the new server, maybe I'll play a bit, but I don't know. Can't believe it's been over 5 years since our last Pokemon movie. What are the chances to get a new movie? If I speak, I'm in big trouble. The chances are high, though. Might be sooner than you think. But I'm not going to say anything outside of that. It's not... I highly doubt that it would be from the same production team that did the previous movies, though. And it's most likely not going to be like an anime-related movie. Like a main anime-related movie. You understand what I'm saying? Do you talk about Billy's DLC thing? What's that about? I mean, I haven't even bought Pokopia. I don't know. I don't know what DLC is about. It's just Pokopia DLC, I guess, right? I mean, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't, I don't play Pokopia. I never played it. I don't know anything about it either. So, yeah. Yeah, it's not incredible. It's Champion Set in Future Region. How the fuck would I know? I just skip, like, even if it's described in the story, I skip every cutscene in Champions. The story's pretty lame anyway. Detective Pikachu 2. Oh, I heard that things weren't going well with that. Didn't that shit get canceled or something? I don't know. I actually kind of like Detective Pikachu 1. I think I watched it in theaters. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. People think it's set in Vegas. Well, is Vegas supposed to be like is Vegas supposed to be like a future city in the Pokemon world? Is that how it works? Like, fuck. about any new Pokemons? What do you know about the number of new Pokemon? I have no idea about the number of new Pokemon. I have zero clue. As I said before, I'm not a games guy. I just know some things about the games because I know anime stuff, right? Like, I'm not a games guy. Go ask Ball Guy or someone about the deck size or whatever. Not me. What country would you like to see a future region take place in? Australia would be cool. I think it's the logical next step. Could do Italy. Um, Greece would have been cool for Gaia. They decided not to because they're kind of tired of doing Europe games, Europe regions, which is fair. China is obviously would be insane. China would go heavy, but they will never do China because of politics. Yeah, it's probably going to be some European region or Australia after this. Maybe they do a South American region, but I doubt it. The new girl is a Pokemon. The new girl's not fucking Pokemon, man. What the fuck? Pokemon version of Las Vegas. Legacy South Africa as a region. They are never doing South Africa. They are never, as a person whose family is from Africa, they are never, ever going to do an African country. It's just never going to happen. There would be, there's not a single actual stable place in Africa where they could really do, because you have to understand that, when they do a region, they take all of their creative staff and they go to that region to research it, right? And it's folklore and stuff. It's not like they just look it up on Wikipedia. There's not really a single region where they could take 50 plus people to. There's not a single place in Africa where they could do that and not have problems. It's just too unstable. Egypt cannot happen. Egypt is super unstable right now. It's not. It's cooked. Egypt is not a stable place either, bro. There's riots all the time, and there's military crackdowns and stuff. It's run under a military dictatorship. Is not good. All right, politically, economically, is not good either. Egypt would be the most logical place to do it because its folklore has such a it's like folklore has such a big impact culturally in the West and also the East, of course. Right, like the Egyptian gods, mythical creatures, the duat. I know some Egyptian lore, but they they could do a whole dream world thing with the duat, and it would be crazy. But they're not going to do it because Egypt, it's just unfeasible. It's just not going to happen. And yeah, I would say those would be cool too. Like Brazil would work really well because of all the biodiversity. What region would you hope for the most? China. I would want China. That's my number one would be China. China or Korea, I guess. But definitely China because China has insane folklore. Caught this late, a major update. I mean, you're gonna have to watch from the beginning, bro. I'm not gonna go over all of it again. Just drag your play bar back to the start and listen up. It's not anything crazy. I was just offering clarification because Ball Guy kind of posted all the stuff already. I was kind of giving more context and stuff and a couple other details. Oh. Wherever resort to regions not based on our regions. I mean, they would just do. I mean, there's a bunch of European countries they can do. They can do America again, but a different part of it. They could do, Canada. They can do other parts of Japan. They can just do parts of Japan. They've only done 4 parts of Japan. That's not even half of Japan's landmass. They can do other stuff. Nordic country, yeah, they could do the whole Nordic peninsula even. Bro, you do not want a Texas region, bro. That sounds like the most boring shit ever, I'm not gonna lie. A Texas region? Holy fuck. That would be. There gonna be highways everywhere, man. I know that big ass dictionary in the back is dusty as fuck. Yeah, I'm smart enough that I don't need to actually use a dictionary anymore. Is what it is. One of Gen 10's was California. California would be lit. Okay, California would be lit. You don't want the USA again. It's boring. Well, that's the thing. You only think it's boring because you probably live here. But there is, especially for the Western U.S., like one of the biggest influxes of tourism we get. I live in West Virginia, but one of the biggest influxes of tourism we get in um the western part of our country is from Asian tourists. Now, usually these are Chinese tourists, but also Vietnamese, but also Japanese as well. They like the U.S. I think, like, especially out west, like the East Coast is, we do have some nice landmarks, but it's a little more visually boring. But the West Coast, like the west area of our country, is very it's very nice. It's fun to visit. There's a lot of cool landmarks. The Grand Canyon, Rocky Mountains, Sonora Desert, Pacific Northwest, all those rock formations and stuff. Like, we got a lot of cool stuff in the western part of our country. The crater lakes and everything. It's pretty cool. So that's why, like, that's not true for every country in the world. Not true. That's false. um, the thing is, America beats a lot of countries in the world from sheer volume. I would say, like, only really China has a crazier variety of ecosystems than America does. Is Legends 3 still being developed? Yeah, of course it is. Legends does pretty well. I think ZA didn't really meet the sales expectations they wanted, but they were kind of unrealistic anyway. But yeah, of course, Legends 3 is still being developed. Not sure about that? Okay, bro, whatever. A greater Antilles region would be cool. Yeah, no. I don't think the Caribbean's gonna happen, specifically because of Haiti. Haiti is a disaster. Would you want a Legends Unova game set in the future or the past? I want Black and White 3. Also, I think ZA, like, story-wise, was so much more interesting because it was a future game. Originally, I wanted it to be a past game, but yeah, these games were so much more interesting, specifically because it was like, instead of having, prequel ancestor characters that look exactly like the present characters, but they're just different people, them being the present characters but older in a sequel is just so much more interesting. Like, they did so much more with the writing in ZA and the world building because it was a sequel game, right? We got all that all the interesting stuff that, like, the passerby would say about stuff about Leon and stuff, and the older characters coming back, Emma coming back, all that. Like, it's just so much more interesting to play through, right? Of course, Pokemon fans don't really read and they don't really give a shit, but I give a shit, and it was really fun. So I would hope that it's a future game. Now, of course, we know the next Legends game, as of now, is supposed to be a past game, a very old past game, which, it's kind of like, okay, whatever, bro. But given that apparently Karasu is the next game, not Ringo. If Karasu replaced Ringo, then we don't actually know what Legends 3 is going to be, which is cool because I think Ringo was kind of a crappy idea anyway. But yeah, a Unova game I would want to be in the future because I want Black and White 3, bro. I want Black and White 3. I want to see what happens next. I want to see what happens next. I want to see the original dragon and all that. I want to see what happens next. I want a finale because it feels like Unova, even after Black and White 2, was coming towards something that just, like, never happened. And we really need that finale. The anthem being Gaia, that would be cool. I demand Legends Necrozma. I mean, Alola is. I feel like Alola as a region was so much more interesting than Ultra Space was. And, that might be like a weird that might be a weird take, but for me, Alola was one of the most interesting like regions to actually play through because you what song artist Horizons might get. Yeah, I asked the person, they didn't know. So I guess I'll ask again at some point, but they didn't know. So um but yeah. They said Diantha was a far off region. I mean, if we get Diantha kind of like Cynthia style in Black and White, where she's just like at a resort or something without her kid or her husband or partner or whatever, that would be pretty funny. She just like left her kid at home and went on vacation by herself. Like, why didn't she take her kid with her, bro? Like, I don't know. Diantha seems to have a very troubled home life. I'm gonna say that. Like, where's her baby daddy at, bro? She's filming a movie, right? And she didn't take her kid with her because she left her kid alone. How much do you know about why? We're back to the anime questions. Okay, why Ash Greninja is no longer acknowledged? The reason Ash Greninja is no longer acknowledged is because they decided to make a Mega Greninja, most likely, and they didn't want to confuse people. Like, if you think about it, ZA was originally started development in what, like 2020, 2021? Like, isn't that right around the point in which, Greninja came out, the Greninja episode came out in 2022, right? And that's when they retconned it. Like, is that not exactly when they would have decided to make a Mega Greninja, and that's when they asked them, hey, don't put this in there because just retcon this because it'll start confusing people if we do like an Ash Greninja and a Mega Greninja, and they like fucking adjusted Balwan and everything in the games. Isn't that it? I'm pretty sure that's the reason. I don't think there's really a reason outside of that. Of course, Pokemon anime fans will be all like, "Oh, they retconned it because it sucks," or "Oh, there wasn't any build up," or blah 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 of some inane like shit that no one cares about and no one even thought about when they did that. But yeah. Yeah, doesn't Meowth have multiple regional forms? It's kind of confusing. There are 3 Meowths. Jesus. Do you think we'll see Maji in the anime before Gen 10? No way. There is just no way. They've never done that before, and they're not going to do that now. Right now, the general plan is for them to begin a Gen 10 region arc in Horizons around when the games come out. So you're not going to see that beforehand in Horizons, no. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen at this point. Do you want L to return? You mean Lysander? I don't know. Not really. I feel like with ZA, I think like XY. I really wish we'd seen the XYMCs in ZA. I feel like that was a bit of a missed opportunity. But in general, I think like Kalos' story has kind of run its course. Of course, we can revisit Kalos in like a decade or two and see what's up with it. But for right now, I think, ZA's story is... ZA kind of wrapped up Kalos' plots nicely, in my opinion. Is it going to be the Gen 10 region anime now? Yeah, pretty much. Yes. So this Horizons does seem like they're going to be... I don't think it's going to run for the whole runtime of Gen 10, but they will be having a Winds and Waves arc. Maybe a Gen 10 arc is a little. You gotta think like Gen 10 includes like probably the next Legends game and stuff. I don't think it's gonna go that far. I think it's just gonna be like a Winds and Waves arc, from what I heard. But of course, they've been changing the plans, the long-term plans of Horizon so much already. It's hard to say what they actually do. It may just be a full Gen 10 thing, but we don't know. If it is a two-gen anime, I hope that they find some way of bridging this gap between gens in entertaining fashion. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if Liko's getting over upon or not. I doubt it though. I don't think any of those legendaries are gonna get caught. Do we know the region name? No. I don't, at least. Maybe one of the games leakers does. I don't. Would have been delayed or not? Well, it's weird, right? So like at this point, you think about the context of the delay, right? At this point, we know that Gen 10, like Wiwa, is already pretty close to being done. They're probably actually like the content teams are probably actually working on Karasu, Legends 3, Gen 11, those things you mentioned. Now instead of Winds and Waves, right? So it got delayed because of some scheduling thing with Nintendo, most likely. I don't know, but that seems like what it would be. Maybe they get delayed because you still have to have that release cadence, right? Or maybe the release cadence shrinks to 1 year again. That's another possibility. It's hard to say right now, though. It's really hard to say. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do because with ZA's delay and then Winds and Waves a second delay for them or maybe a third delay. We're kind of like at the point that the old release scheduling is completely out of whack. And it makes sense, right? Because they're developing like ZA and especially Winds and Waves, like the games are expanding in scope. It's much, much harder to keep to a reliable timeline when you have games that are this crazy. Probably because of GTA 6? No, I don't think so. They don't have any competitors. I don't think GTA 6 is really like GTA 6 is gonna be that game this year, but I don't think that it's because of GTA 6. Pokemon doesn't really have anything to fear from that. I don't think. Like I don't even know. Like the main market for Pokemon these days actually is just Japan. So like I don't know how much they'd even be concerned about the Japanese audience for that. Leakers are certain of. Well, here's the thing, right? I don't even think that the Pokemon Company has decided their final release date for Winds and Waves. However, a prominent games leaker posted on Twitter, I think it was today or yesterday, that the release window right now is September 2027. He hinted at that, right? But I don't even think the actual devs and the actual fucking executives have decided on a final date, given that said final date is 18 months from now, right? Like, how the fuck are they supposed to know like the exact date? They haven't decided yet. So leakers can't be certain of it because the actual people who are releasing the game aren't certain of it yet either. You understand what I'm saying? It's way too early for them to just say like we're releasing on this day. Like they might be like we want to release this month or something, but they still have to consider some stuff before they do any of that. DJ6 thing, it'll also be console sales. Yeah, that's the main thing I think is Switch 2 sales. They're worried that the install base isn't big enough in 2026. I think that's the main reason, and they're waiting until more people buy Switch 2s before they release the games exclusively on Switch 2s. Early 2077, there's no way they would do that. There's no way. Like early year video game releases are kind of ass for multiple reasons, but there's no way they release it that early. 3D Mario ends up being Q4 2027. Would that be a concern for sales? Well, I don't know. I mean, that's. You think the story is good? Well, what I've heard about the story sounds pretty good, but I don't really know much about the actual story of the games, and yeah, I just know about like background info, basically. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, it's hard to say whether the story's good. Like, I mean, I hope the story is good because I actually care about the story of Pokemon games, unlike many people who play Pokemon. So yeah, one day I hope to get for future games and know the info. Um, well, one thing I'll say, and this is just a general thing, like, so we was not going to be out in Q2 of 2027? No. Why would it be? That's like a little early. Hey, Moon, how are you, bro? I'm chilling. I'm great. Thanks for asking. Do you think we'll see any more new megas? I doubt it. Megas are pretty tough for them to make, and there's not there's not a real platform for them to do it with. They're not going to do them in winds and waves because they have a new mechanic for that. I think we got a good amount of megas. We got a solid number of megas in ZA, way more than I was expecting to get with the DLC. So like, I'm good on new megas. Maybe we'll get new megas in 20 years. Oh well. Yeah, one thing I'll say about like working on games and knowing info is like when a thing becomes your job, you become a lot less excited about like knowing info and stuff. And also you take keeping the info to yourself much more seriously, so it's a lot less fun to be like a knower. Like, oh, I know blah 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 blah. You know? I'll keep up with the animes and stories but besides the memes, we'll get any Legend of story stuff. I think they're done with that. I could be wrong. Maybe we'll get another Kalos arc, which would be a good arc to kind of, give Uruto and Roy some more development. But it's kind of like, who cares? I hope they're an option we want. I mean, I don't know, man. They'd have to make like new models and stuff for all the megas and things. Like that's a lot of work, bro. Like you're gonna make them do all that, like for every new mega. Like that sounds crazy. They have to make new models in the art style and everything, and different animations. Like that's a lot of work. That's like what, like 40 something forms or something. Like that's a lot for shit that's like not even implementable. With Sun and Moon, they just slapped the models and shit in because they didn't have different models for them because they just used the same set of models, so it was fine. That's why it was easy for them to put in. But with this, it's like nah, no. You just take those megas and you go play with them in Champions. Go play Champions. Champions is really fun. You should play that. They'll continue doing regional forms. They're very easy because they don't have to come up with a new motif for design. Like they just give it like a different color palette and some different changes of like the fur or whatever, and then that's like a new mon. It's a new form, and people love that shit. They like it even more than like the new mons themselves. So it's like it was one of the best ideas they ever made. New megas to Liko, Dot, and Navi. New megas. Well, I don't know anything about Navi, so and she's not gonna have mega, so let's just keep that out of the way. But Dot and Liko, I have to pick up a list of ZA megas. I forget what all are in that. ZA megas. I would give Liko probably Mega Frostlass or something. And I would give Dot either Mega Clefairy or Mega Absol Z, probably. I think Dot would do good with Mega Absol Z. Shamey's fun. Oh, I'm not Master Balling yet. I hope they get there soon. So is Navi going to be the Procopia rep now? I mean, she's probably going to be both. I bet she'll be the Procopia rep and the Winds and Waves rep. Yeah, there was a bit of lore talk. Dawn or in one gimmick trainers, probably. A South Korea region? Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't really know a lot about Korean mythology, but it would probably be cool. My knowledge of Korean mythology starts and ends with the god of high school. So yeah. Do you think they'll take any new approaches with Weibo marketing? I don't see why not. Why the fuck did my camera just do that? Hello? The fuck? Is it because I stretched my arm up like this? Yeah, it is. So if I just do this, oh, come back and focus? Ugh. There we go. It's a little better. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a regular Logitech webcam, but it keeps doing this shit. I don't know why. Samsung is their god or something. I don't know. Okay, bro. Damn. Anyway, I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about as of now. Yeah. Think I'm gonna wrap it up here, boys. You know, a lot about things wouldn't get onto you. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, all right. I think I'm probably gonna head on out. Yeah. Anyway, hope you all have a good day. If some more leak shit comes out, of course I'll go live again. But yeah, this was a little unexpected. Will this be the real last one? Well, I don't know, man. I mean, it depends. Like as I said before, when I said last stream, I said, oh, this is probably gonna be the last stream for a while. But like, and then I had a stream 2 days later because someone posted some shit. So it's like, maybe I'll have one later. Anyway, see y'all. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord. Yeah, bye.